closet it would like to. Welcome back to Find a Home in Big Bear. Good day, Big Bear in Big Bear Lake, California. Lots of Big Bear there.
Lots of Big Bear.
Big Bear.
We're talking.
You ever been up here, Big Bear?
BBB.
BBB,
You know?
lots of stuff. I'm John
Big
Wells
and
with
beautiful.
Exit Realty.
And this is Dan Bassers with Extra Realty.
Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, John. How are you today?
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. A little busy.
A little busy.
A little busy, a little stuff
That's a
going
good
on. But sure, of course it's a good thing. You know, there are days I go, I really like to just be bored for about an hour,
Yeah.
you know, with nothing to do.
I know that that's not going to happen in your lifetime,
No,
so
it's
there's no boredom in your life. So. The process.
Speaking about being busy, we're about to get busier. We have, you may have heard, I learned this movie, World War Z, was about zombies.
Yeah.
But I don't think it
Nice.
mentioned the zombies that we're going to talk about today.
No, it's a new zombie program.
There are zombies in real estate, according to Realty Track. Now, first of
Yes.
all, who's Realty Track?
Realty Track is a company that basically follows all the statistics in home sold homes, foreclosure homes. Just kind of gives you an evaluation of what the market is doing, and they track all the different types of real estate programs.
And not just statistics, but like you said, programs and other things that are going on.
Right.
And they've put a warning out, pretty much,
Basically.
for realtors. And the headline is: Real estate professionals must battle zombies to survive.
Yes.
Tell us what zombies in real estate are all about.
A zombie piece of property is basically a foreclosure that was, well let me put
So
it like
so
this.
it's not agents.
It's not
that are
agents.
zombies.
I mean, by the end result, you would think they were. I mean, that's how they look
But it's
and feel
homes.
afterwards. It's
Zombie
people's
homes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Basically, what takes place is, and understand, for years now, for 5 years, people have, come to that conclusion. They get to a certain point during a foreclosure process, and they realize there's no beating the system, so they will pack their bags and move.
Well, they've been
and
told they're
relocate.
going to have to.
They're
Yes.
they're looking at point being is, walking away from a mortgage has been kind of the trend for about 5 years now.
Right.
Okay. So what's taking place now is banks are walking away from foreclosures. And what I mean by that is a bank will go right up to the doorstep of an auction, and then a few days before walk away and not finish the foreclosure process.
So that home has technically not been foreclosed on.
Hey, wait a minute, I think I got a special...
That was last Friday's show with Noel. The phones didn't stop ringing the whole time. So they're not finishing the foreclosure process, so...
It's not beneficial for them to do so after evaluation and conversation and talk and what they're see that it wouldn't be to their advantage to continue this foreclosure process. So they walk away from it. And then, which means, and what makes it a zombie situation is now the people have moved out of the house thinking it was going into foreclosure to auction.
They got notice
So-
it was going to auction.
So they could, what starts taking place is the house starts being run down, and remember, these people have packed up and they're gone. So
Right.
they're not even thinking about the fact
They
that
got
they
on with
could
their life
still own
somewhere
the
else.
house. And then all of a sudden they'll get notices by the county for property, being destroyed. It's been completely stripped now at this point. It's damaged. It's damaged goods, basically what it is. And since the bank is the one that walked away from the process, these people are starting getting notices from the county that they're weed abating, they're taking care of this home, they're doing this, they're doing that. And then when it's all said and done at the end of that process, these people start, the minute they realize what's going on is usually one particular client in here, they got a bill for $62,000 for back payments.
Because they still own the house.
And the reason they put it into the zombie mode is simply because now this house can't be sold in the condition that it's in.
Right.
So it's basically considered a dead home on the market. And
Wow.
now you start a whole new process
Wow.
of fighting this battle. And these people literally moved away thinking within a week the house was going to be sold at auction, and they were out of the package. So
instead of staying in a house that's been foreclosed on and squatting, basically, they Thought they were doing
They
the
did
right
the
thing.
right thing.
Get out of the house.
Exactly.
Give it back to the bank. Okay. But now-
to give you an idea, there's
Wow.
between, there's different ideas on how many of these homes are sitting throughout the country, but they estimate between 500,000 to a million of these homes are sitting around that they have not completed the foreclosure on. The unfortunate thing is these people have moved away, they figure the house is done. So I think the lesson here is, and of course, you never really want to say what people should do.
Right.
We don't give advice.
We're not
That's
attorneys or
our-
tax
it's
consultants,
Not our,
and,
our
yeah,
deal, but
we don't-
the advice that's coming out of the articles that I've read is stay in that house until that auction date, or at least stay in touch with that house and the bank until you know for sure that it did go through auction and had been sold.
So this is still going on.
This is a constant thing. It's becoming a bigger and bigger issue even as we speak.
Right.
And they're stating right now that probably a third of those zombie houses that are out there are between New York, Arizona, and California. And I believe there's one other
Wow.
state that's sitting in. So
Well, Florida had,
um,
55,000?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's a practice that the banks are now really looking at because it's not beneficial to them to complete that foreclosure, so they stop. And the people are
And now they really don't want it.
Now they don't want it at all, and now these people are looking at tremendous back payments. And in these particular articles that I've read, these people have been out of the house for 2 years.
Oh
And
my.
they had absolutely no idea that they still own this house. Now they are liable for all of that.
And last week we talked about if you'd been in a foreclosure between a year and 3 years ago, there may be some hope on other financing programs. But I would imagine when they do the credit thing, they show you still own the house.
Well, the problem, and again, and that's why you don't want to take your eye off the ball in any situation, because this is becoming a bigger and bigger problem for everyone. You have to understand that in the foreclosure programs, some foreclosures could take as much, as little as 4 to 6 months, and other ones can take years. So you never know. There's no set timeline or time frame, but people just assume, which we all know about assuming. They're assuming that they're going to follow through with that auction. So they need to get out there following the orders they're given for the notice of default. They're following all the action, taking all the right steps to do what the bank has asked them to do. But nobody in the early stages of this ever thought the bank would not go through with the foreclosure.
Sure.
But because people are walking away from homes, the banks have figured out that they can walk away from a foreclosure.
we can do it too.
And they don't.
If you can do it, we can do it.
And they don't need to give you notice.
Wow.
They don't need to say a thing.
Well, for more on this, you can look at realtytrack.com.
Yes.
Or give us a call. Dan Bathurst, be happy to chat with you about any of this. 909
878-0522.
0522 or exitrealtybigbear.com. And for stats, if you want to know what those were, we got all the information. You can go to findahomeinbigbear.com. And we'll be back next week and we'll talk about vampire houses. Stuff that sucks the blood
we have
right
some
out of
pretty
you
good
there.
topics.
You guys pretty good,
Eminent
huh?
domain is coming into the picture now. So this is a new one on it, right along with the zombies. So
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
$1 million.